Okay, welcome to reading a car lease agreement, part 2. In this section, I want to talk about this value right here in section 6, the actual cost of the car. This is what you're negotiating on when you actually go to purchase or lease a car. On this document, it's down here in section 10 where we get this number 24,079.50. So that is the total cost of the car with all of the extra dealer fees added on and any rollover from a previous car. So here line A, 2815. So that is the real cost of the car. Let's say the window sticker was 21,500 and we were able to bring that price down through negotiation to 2815. So from here you can kind of get an idea of how well you did negotiating with the dealer. Typically, unless you're negotiating with values, you're not going to see this until at this very point in time when you're going to sign the lease. Because typically when you negotiate, you're looking at down payment and terms and mileage, and then you just get a monthly payment and you're not really talking about the price of the car. But now that you're actually signing the lease, you get to see the actual price of the car that you're paying. The second line is any rollover. In this case, there's $2,200. We turned a car in early and we ended up having some penalty fees on top of that. So those penalty fees, unless we wanted to pay those outright, they're added to the cost of the car, of the new car. Acquisition fee, so this is a standard dealer fee like a delivery charge of $575. Typically you're not going to be able to negotiate that out of here. Similar to the document and administration fee of $489.50. This is another fee that you're probably not going to be able to negotiate out of the price of the car. And so you add all of these things up and we get to our final cost of the car of $24,079.50, which goes, we've talked
right
about
here.
the down payment from section 5, and which comes to our adjusted capital cost of $22,800. The next line, residual value, this is the amount that the car is estimated to be worth after the lease is up. In this case, the lease is a 4-year, 15,000-mile lease, and the car today, or at the time when we purchased the car, was $28,515. However, in 4 years from then, it's going to be $10,100. So this line E now is the difference between what we need to pay on the car now and what the car is going to be worth when we give it back to them. So that $12,000 is just a subtraction of these two values. The next line, line F, the rent charge. This is not a well understood line item, but I believe it's the most important for everyone to understand. This amount here is essentially being loaned to you over the 4-year period. And because it's a loan, you have to pay interest on it. It's not going to be an interest-free loan. So the lease agreement used what's called a money factor to determine the amount of interest you're going to pay. Now, money factor can be figured out by, there's many websites that talk about this, but on this particular site, you can just do a search for money factor and look at a site. So in this case, you can calculate money charge by doing lease charge divided by the net cap cost plus residual times term. So let's do this and understand our interest rate. Okay, so let's figure out the money factor in this example. Net cap cost plus residual value times terms, 48 months or 4 years. We then take the lease charge and divide that by the value we just got. So lease charge divided by, and we get a long decimal essentially of 0.00256. To convert this into interest rate, we go back to the website and they say you take the money factor and multiply it by 2400. And 2400 is it's not just a number they pulled out of the sky. If you do some more homework on this number, the 2 zeros are to move the decimal place, and the 24 is used because there's 2 terms on a monthly basis. So multiply by 2400 and we have an interest rate of around 6.14%. And this may seem fairly high if you are seeing the dealers advertise at 2.9% or 1%. I actually asked the dealer about money factor, and they told me that this is not really negotiable, and it comes directly from, in this case, Volkswagen Credit. So whoever the financing company is will supply the dealership the money factor, and it's not easily negotiable, which is unfortunate. So that is, one problem with leasing cars, is that you're pretty much stuck with a higher interest rate than you would normally get if you were actually purchasing the car. Now that we have our total, we have our principal amount of $12,000 plus our interest rate or our interest amount of $4,000, we get a total of $16,000 that needs to be paid back to Volkswagen Credit. To get our monthly payments, we simply divide that by the term to get 348.6. In addition to the monthly payment, we also have to add on the state sales tax onto the car payment. And since this is a lease, they spread the sales tax over the entire term as well. So to get the amount of sales tax, you just divide your month or multiply your monthly payment by your sales tax. In North Carolina, it's 3%. So that's 0.03. If you're 8%, 0.08, etc. So you get your 10.46 for your sales tax, and then you then add that to your monthly payment to get your final monthly payment of $359.06. So hopefully that helps explain what's going on in this box, and specifically you understand the higher interest rate being charged for lease cars. And